Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to The Hole in the World, an actual play set in the world of the Invisible Sun RPG by Monte Cook Games. I am, as always, your GM slash producer slash guy that does all the stuff. I'm Zach, otherwise known as Great Zamino. I use he, him pronouns, and I am joined once again by a lovely cast. Marcy, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
So me, folks. Nothing I can really do about that at this point. And I am back once again for another wonderful week, playing Gavriel, the iconoclastic ardent apostate who hosts a choir.
Excellent. And moving down the overlay, Bill, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
What up? I'm Bill. I'm playing Maurice Webb, a former True Spider, formerly the Spider Prince, but is now a stalwart empath of the Order of Weavers who turns tales into reality. And I have recently summoned Carpet from the beloved intellectual property Aladdin by Disney.
God damn it, you're
Walt
gonna get
Disney
a
Studios. Walt
You can't
Disney.
just say that. You're gonna kill us.
Zach, you're gonna have to go
Google Walt Disney Frozen.
There are literally lawyers right now outside of my window.
Liza's gonna find in lieu of me just like a blood print in the shape of a Mouseketeer logo.
All of us, like there's laser pointers just going on all of our foreheads right now.
No, I see it all blacked out as like censored, and then you have like one of the 30s Mickey Mouse is like dancing around.
Steamboat Willie, but with knives.
We have the Steamboat Willie version of Carpet in our show.
Folks, thank you so much for joining us on this, our final and last episode of anything.
God, if I didn't live paycheck to paycheck, I would pay somebody to animate Steamboat Willie coming in and just shooting us all.
The ship Steamboat Willie.
Oh my God. Oh, okay.
Shipped with who?
Okay, we barely made it through the intros, guys.
And moving over to the other side of the overlay, Hopper, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Oh, fuck. That's me. I'm Hopper. My pronouns are they, them. Regrettably, I am also still here, still present, still a problem. And I am playing, I'm playing a bunch of shit, but mostly I'm playing Okris, who is a iconoclastic ardent apostate who heralds endings. Is that right?
That is correct. Right. I believe so. And then
yeah,
excellent. And finally, last but not least, Marissa, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Marissa, as introduced. She, her pronouns. I am an editor of books, TTRPGs, video games, etc., known as Critical Kitten, with various punctuations here and there on the internet. And I am playing Kiri von Hollingsworth, the first assistant librarian of the Order of Vance. She's an eremitics stoic who understands the words, guardian of Zaleska's grimoire, curator of King Nine's library, mistress of monikers, maven of mirrors, and speaking of mirrors, recent acquirer of a shard of mirrored glass that might be a part of her sister's soul?
Could be. Could very well be.
Unclear.
That happens to everybody, though. So, like, it's not, like, crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you just have to wait your turn to be given a shard of your sibling's soul. And
like, it's honestly, like, why did you even bring it up? It's so normal.
I think it's more... Really, the only time you get to bring it up is when you didn't have a sibling, and so there's a lot more questions raised, and you have to have a really awkward conversation with your parents.
So true, bestie.
Yeah.
It's spot mitzvah, like, mirror mitzvah, is it mirror
episode
stuff?
Title, the mirror mitzvah.
How you going with that? How you doing?
I am not saying anything anymore. But one thing I can say is I am going to start us back up with a recap of everything that has transpired. But in order to do that, I must once again play theme. So previously on The Hole in the World, you guys had entered into the Darkest House proper. And what that kind of meant for you guys was you had explored several darkened areas after traveling through what appears to be some sort of artifact shaped like a model of the Cathedral of the Unknowable Angels clock tower. You guys had found yourselves in several entry rooms, one of which you guys realized was a large great hall. So basically, you guys had encountered this entity within the Great Hall called the Host. And the Host I basically identified themselves as a helpful guide, a friendly face, a friendly ear that would help you kind of learn a little bit more about the Darkest House. You guys had found your way to that room by essentially sabotaging a half-visible portion of a wall that you realized hid a secret elevator. However, after being waylaid by an entity called the Sister, as well as by kind of traversing this ruined elevator shaft that somehow also triggered a new elevator to descend almost on top of you. You guys had found yourselves in the Great Hall, but you had also managed to get a hold of this shadowy entity that seemed like a reflection of Allegra called the Sister. And by liberating this curse from her form, Kira, you were able to determine that she had originally come to the house with some grand intention of working some great power, but she knew that also that you would be following in her footsteps, and she told you that she had left something for you in a room that you would know where to look. Meanwhile, you guys interrogated the host before setting their soul free within the greater actuality, and this host managed to tell you that essentially you would be able to encounter more information on more strange entities in the form of the Curator, who existed on a gallery on a lower level, but at the same time there was a music room and a number of other kind of rooms that belonged to both the Father and the Sister above you. Unsure of which way to traverse, you guys find yourselves in front of the kind of created elevator shaft. The host, having been liberated, now reformed by the house because it hates you. But not before, Okris, you found in your pockets a note that seemed to be of a personal nature that you had crumpled up, or that perhaps Twig had in some point. And it seemed like a note that was familiar to you in its content, but written by an unfamiliar hand that still you couldn't quite place. So with these kind of circumstances laid before you, we now find you guys in the middle of the Great Hall of the Darkest House, pondering which way to go, up or down.
Down and early around. I'm gonna get us a copyright strike.
It's too late.
Okris, yeah.
Yeah, that's Hopper saying that. I don't think Okris has super strong feelings about where we're headed. I just think we need to choose something. The library is up.
The library
I don't
is
think we know.
Down. Library's down.
Library would be down, along with the gallery.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yes, and I think up is music room and sister's quarters, from what we've been told, and maybe some other stuff, but we don't entirely know. Just those things.
And what's the status of the note? This is something This is Okris' private knowledge.
The note, I believe, Okris, did you read that aloud for everybody, or was that for the players?
Bold of you to think that I could possibly remember. Did you send it to me?
Yes, I put it in the chat and you read it for everybody.
Oh yeah, I did that. Was that in the Hole in the World chat or was it in a different chat?
That was in the Zoom chat. I will go ahead and paste it.
You could resend
thank you,
that.
thank you.
Because I have no memory of this place.
Chris's mind completely taken up by dispatching the host to its future beyond.
Okay.
Job fulfilling their purpose. That is important, though.
Okay.
Well, yeah, of course, it requires all of their mental power.
So that is in everything. Cool.
Yes.
It should also be stated that I didn't state this in the recap, but you guys have seen some sort of shadowy image that appears to be almost like a, think of it like a tape that has tracking errors, like an image in reality that seems like an abscess in the world around you. So essentially what has happened is at one point, you also realized that this kind of figure that was an abscess in reality was having exchanges in some of these places, like almost like a hologram played out in front of you. And you heard a voice that was familiar and yet wholly foreign to you as well. So just kind of making sure that you guys accounted for that as well in your calculus. So the host is behind you, kind of dancing, swaying to the music that only he can hear. And you all find yourselves staring at the empty elevator.
So, Kiri, you were sure that the clue that you were going to find, the one that Allegra was sure you knew where to look, that'd be in the library.
I mean, she knows that I'm a librarian. That seems most logical.
It seems most logical that this is our next stop, right, gang?
Well,
I think Gav is already in the elevator, just sort of like hovering over like up down buttons.
I think Kiri is staring at her reflection in the shard of the mirror that is apparently the congealed version piece of her sister's soul. Something is telling me there might be more to find. Maybe... Was this thing my sister? It was called Sister, right?
Don't you think that this is a way for the house to get to you?
That's what I've been saying. This house, it's a living thing. If you want to find out more, we're certainly not going to find it by standing in the elevator.
But Allegra was here.
Yeah.
We're pretty sure about that, right?
Both of these things can be true. Allegra was here, but is this entity Allegra, or is the house mimicking the Allegra that was here?
All the same, even if that's true, even if the house is mimicking Allegra, there might be information in the design. What I mean is that if it's constructing some story of what took place here before, maybe it's doing that with a purpose, but we can read some of the truth in it.
I would be wary of putting any stock in what this entity has to say, at least until we can understand if it's really Allegra or just the house trying to keep you here. But again, we will not find these answers standing here.
No, that is
true. And I
true.
don't think we have I'll say this. I don't think we have a lot of time in this house. I don't think we have a lot of time to talk strategy or backtrack or cover, make mistakes and try to recover from it.
Oh, we've got all the time in the world, my friend. You just hear
Could
from the
always
host.
start at the top and work our way down.
I mean,
Assuming that this thing actually operates in Cartesian space.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I say we look at the top. I don't want to... If it is trying to assemble some sort of puzzle or put us in some sort of direction, narratively or otherwise, I guess we should have all the pieces. before we make
Carpet.
our decision.
What do you think?
The tassel just kind of looks at you, and I think, or the kind of like augments, and it just kind of gives a half-hearted shrug.
Maurice claps it on the back and says, "We're gonna get you out of here in one piece, I promise."
And it seems to kind of bow and wave in a nod.
Okris, you've been quiet. Which is normal and good. To the top.
I hit the button going up. It's too late. I heard a majority, and if the only problem for Gav is no solution, so I heard up. We're going up.
Okay. You find yourselves in you find yourselves in this elevator, and you pull it shut, this kind of brass cage that's kind of like almost like a loft elevator in miniature, old style, and it pulls shut. You lock it behind you, and then you are faced with a dial. In the similar way, there are not buttons in this elevator. There's a dial that essentially has a lever attached to it that you can pull, and there are labels that are kind of ensconced within this kind of hollow section of the lever. So when you pull it, it will show you the name of the floor you're going to. You know for a fact that it is set right now in the central position, which is the Great Hall.
Oh shit! This is some Willy Wonka elevator bullshit. We're going up, down, diagonal, and sideways.
Yeah, and you see below this one, the Boundless Room is the next label, and then underneath it, you see a label that is completely seems to be kind of like almost have like a forceful stop put in front of it, called the Cell. And then
not ominous at all.
The label that is above the Great Hall is for the music room.
We specifically, Kiri was most curious about the libraries downstairs. Though, when we said we're going up.
I think her sister's the sister's quarters is what she's kind of. I mean, like, she's very fascinated by the shard. She's like, is this actually a piece of my sister's soul or not? I have no idea. I have no point of reference. I think she kind of wants to like explore the sister's room and like see.
Which is still upstairs, isn't it? Okay. Then I think that's what I would put it to.
Amazing. Okay. So in this case, you guys move it up, and I should tell you, there are a number of other floors above this one. However, the labels seem to be scratched out of the dial, as though the house is selecting what is for you.
The fog of war be upon us.
And you move the dial to the music room. And there is a sudden lurch, and then you slowly begin to ascend the shaft.
Wait, is the music room the sister's room?
The music room, it's kind of like if you had to I will tell you this. If you had to kind of put a figure on it, the Great Hall leads off in many different ways, in many different places. It has a number of doors and also a number of kind of upper levels that lead to kind of separate rooms that I believe the host told you about. And you suspect that the music hall may be similar. However...
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
If you would like to will this elevator to a place that you have in mind, you can certainly try to do that.
No, I guess I was just curious because the information we had was there's the sister and the father, and I wasn't clear on if there was a label for that in the elevator or if all we had above us was the music room label. If that's the case, then yes, the music room would be what Gav would have selected.
Oh, and by the way, I will say below you, actually above the Boundless Room, but below the Great Hall is another floor that is marked the gallery. Right. So you have chosen to go to the musical room. As the door, the kind of like kind of porthole, or kind of like the entry door begins to close over the brass cage, you just see the host wave to you and say, "Be seeing you soon." And
I hope not.
the door closes. Okay. And you begin to ascend slowly. And
Say that Maurice in this moment kind of brushes up against carpet and then puts his hands up to apologize, and then brushes up against the tassels, and then kind of starts playing like a clapping game, like starts doing a Miss Mary Mac with carpet. And this is how he invokes his secret soul, the child.
Amazing.
And all my pools are refreshed and I gain a joy.
Amazing. I think that, do I want to make a hard move here? Do it. As you invoke this, you feel the joy beginning to kind of effulge out of your form. And what does this look like to everybody around you as you invoke your secret soul?
I think it looks different for everybody in this moment. How would you feel right now if there were some giggling youths in the elevator with you? I imagine.
Confused.
I imagine for Okris, it's terrible. And for Kiri on a good day, maybe fun. But this is a haunted house.
And
Okris isn't a buzzkill. They just don't.
Well, hold on. I'm going to add this to my notes. Okris, not a buzzkill. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Here first.
I also have a curiosity or a question, which is also a curiosity. Does invoking a secret soul require a sooth deck pull?
Normally it would. Normally it would, but the sooth deck, the current is absent in this place.
Ah, yes.
And
that makes sense.
As I think all of you begin to see this game, you cannot help but reflexively kind of, I think even like just a little curve to your mouths as you kind of smile. You just, I think, Maurice, you just begin kind of like, you can't help yourself, you giggle, and then you hear as a small, slight, childlike form appears in the corner of the elevator, and before you can stop her, reaches out to also touch one of the tassels of the carpet, and you watch it unravel in front of you.
No!
And you see it just become utter, complete thread,
Oh
a pile
God.
of it. As it,
I'm holding it like spaghetti.
You are holding it like spaghetti. You will take a despair as you watch the house. As you experienced joy within the house, there is nothing that the darkest house could find more repugnant. And so it took pains to unravel your spell. However, because it did that, you may ignore the next time that the house would act.
Maurice or as a group?
As a group.
That's great.
Oh.
You did the thing that forced its intercession. But
Zach,
yes,
would you say that this was kind of a rug pull from Maurice?
Oh.
I might say that. But then again, it's not me you want to worry about. It's the house.
I've come undone.
If you want.
You need to continue weaving this tale. I'm so sorry.
Kiri, I believe you had something to ask.
Yes. I think, Maurice, if you've invoked your secret soul, as this happens, I think maybe like, I don't know, like as you go to grab the kind of spaghetti carpet as it unravels, you kind of brush against the shard that Kiri's holding of Allegra's soul. And if I may, you get a flash, almost instant, like you've been transported there, of just a very quick, but Daddy, this game is beneficial. It will help, I promise. Child, no. Get back to work. Child's play is beneficial to no one. Games are actually for adults. One day you'll come to learn it.
And if I see you draw another one of those sooth cards in your room, I will be most displeased.
And then as quick as it comes.
Maurice just catches your eyes. He's, tears pooling at the bottom of his eyes, and he looks at you with, maybe it's just sorrow with the loss of carpet or something more.
I will also say that Okris and Gav, the thing that you notice is as the secret soul had been invoked, the light, the faint light that was illuminating the elevator basically began to glow brighter and brighter and light the elevator with more light. And then as soon as you heard the giggle and the carpet was, dissipated or destroyed, you saw that light shrink back to its dimness. The door, after a moment, lurches and stops with the elevator car and partially opens. And you have the distinct feeling, all of you, that whatever cable is suspending the elevator has begun to sway, as though whatever track it is on has become unmoored. And you feel like at any moment, if you sway, if you move a particularly dramatic fashion, something really terrible is going to happen to the physics of this thing. And I think all of you collectively hold your breath as suddenly it shudders and it pulls back up a few more feet before the door opens and an exterior door opens.
Something tells me that this elevator is not going to be very cooperative.
And you find yourselves looking out into a ballroom in which you hear an interesting panoply of orchestral music. In point of fact, it sounds downright jazzy. And you see out in front of you a massive ballroom. It is populated by, on one side, on the left, a raised stage on which a number of figures are playing music. And out in this ballroom, there are a number of people that are swinging around, dancing in time, waltzing, it would seem, along with the beat. The room itself seems to have a number of doors far past it and a raised area that kind of goes up a set of stairs, which leads to what looks like a well-lit bar in one corner. It's a party. People are having a good time, seemingly. They are just, however, the closer you look at the people that are dancing, the weirder and stranger they look. It looks like a party from Saturnine. Like something is, like these people are just not anybody that you would find in the middle of the gray. What do you all do?
I'm, obviously tentatively getting out of the elevator. Based on what happened, with the host, we never got to the point of outright threatening. I am reluctant to engage with the dancers. I'm just sort of like Gav's sneaking out. She's still in her Erebast form, so it's just going to be like plodding out there like a quiet velociraptor.
Oh, incidentally, I should say that the dial on the elevator, I realize, it didn't say the music room, it said the ballroom.
Okay.
That was my mistake.
There's still music.
Yeah, exactly. In point of fact, as you kind of start hearkening and your keen kind of primal senses adjust to this environment, you begin hearing something more formal from what it would appear kind of to be the eastern room.
Yeah, I think that disconnect like registered with Kiri fairly quickly. Like from what she remembers in the 1920s and 30s, like jazz was decidedly not a ballroom dance or ballroom style of music. I think she was used to sort of never really understanding in the gray kind of like how people felt jazz or experienced jazz, like the kind of classical music training is like what she's more used to. So I think to see people sort of waltzing or dancing kind of to this jazz music was kind of already discordant to her, which maybe already drew her attention to the fact that there might be something more formal sounding coming from this other wing.
Yeah, absolutely. There is, I think that what you guys, you realize is it is very disconcerting precisely because these people are moving to a completely different rhythm than the band is playing, as if like these two separate sets of people are existing in different times. What do all of you do?
This feels wrong. Doesn't this feel wrong to you?
What else is
Everything
new?
in this house feels wrong.
Have we all made it off the elevator? Like
Have you?
safely? Because it was dangling, right?
It was dangling, but a sense of normalcy kind of restored. You realized that maybe
Okay.
it was the house attempting to play on you.
Sure. So yeah, walk off into the ballroom proper, and yeah, Maurice is engaging with Kiri. Like, where should we go?
Yeah, what do you think you're looking for here?
She looks down at this like shard of glass, almost like she's like what's the word for the water wayfinding, dowsing, like a dowsing rod. She's kind of using this mirror shard to kind of point as though it's gonna sort of. She doesn't really know what she's looking to feel, but she's like, if I'm looking for sister's quarters, this is the piece of sister, maybe my sister, maybe not, that I have.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that in that case, you are trying to. I think if you're using this as a dowsing rod, I would like you to make me. I'll say make me a intellect roll, or maybe I think what this would actually be would be interaction, because you are trying to interface with your sister's soul.
Yes.
And I think what will happen is you may augment this as though it were a spell.
Okay, got you.
However,
However,
you roll as many house dice as you roll spell dice,
that
or
is also true.
as regular dice.
All right. I will pump a Bene into this regardless. Here, let me get my blocks up. All right, so this is an interaction. So I'm out of interaction after this. Okay, here goes. That is. Oh ho ho. All right. So that's a 13 on the normal die. And
13?
yes, 13.
Did you roll a
and then a
d20 or a
9.
10?
Oh, no, total.
Oh,
Was
okay,
that
pardon me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
13.
13 on the regular die, and then how much did you use sortilege? Sorry.
Yes, I used 1 point of. Well, I used 1 point of interaction. Bene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. On a 13, I will say that as you begin scanning kind of the crowd with this shard, you see as if you are looking through your sister's eyes, a perspective that is about waist high of an adult. And you see her running through a room that is not quite this. It's very similar in several ways. It feels as though this ballroom is entirely a creation of the house, but it also has notable aspects of it that share aspects of a room that Allegra had in her childhood. And you see her running through kind of like the western door. And basically you see her going up a set of stairs, and then going through, like, passing a doorway on her left, and another set of stairs that kind of goes even further up, but she instead turns right to a door that it would look like leads to what you realize is probably a smaller room.
I think Kiri will relay this to the rest of the group. It seems like this is real, or this is something Allegra remembers. Time is strange here, but it's done its own thing with it. This jazz was never there. It's corrupted the memory somehow. All the same, I think the pathway to her quarters is clear, and she points towards the western door.
Is it through the dancers?
I was going to say...
Or is it on the side?
If you guys would... Basically, the most direct path is just basically you hang a right as you go through the room. If you want to try to make it around the periphery, you can certainly try. But it will probably take some movement if you would like to attempt to traverse it without going through the dancers.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Sounds safe.
All right, so if everybody is moving carefully, go ahead and give me a movement roll. You can augment it however you like.
Pop a band-aid into that, why not?
Mm-hmm. And then remember to roll your house dice. And if I'm going to say that this is going to be about a 7.
Can I change my strategy before I roll?
You may certainly do that. What would you like to do?
And this would involve... Did you already roll, Marissa?
I did not.
Okay. Maurice puts out his hand and asks you to dance.
I think Kiri looks... But I don't... This is jazz.
When in Rome.
What do they dance in Rome? What is Rome?
What's
I guess...
Fine, nobody dances with the Velociraptors anyway, so I'm just gonna sidle as carefully as possible.
I think Kiri is skeptical, but she takes your hand.
Cool.
Excellent. I will say in that case, if you are going to take Kiri's hand and kind of attempt to dance through these figures, I'm going to say you are going to get an asset to your roll. So essentially, you may... I'll give you +2 on this.
Love that. Love that. Cool.
All right. So everybody give me your rolls as you hear the tone change and the song changes up as well.
I've already rolled. I got a 7 on my regular dice, bringing it up to an 8, and I got a 0 on the house dice. I don't know if that means anything.
Excellent. So a 0 on the house dice is not necessarily a bad thing. It's still normal rules. How much did you get on your regular die?
7 on the dice exactly, bringing it up to an 8 with my bene.
Cool. I will say, of the two of you, Maurice and Kiri, whoever rolls the highest, you can use that roll. However,
I rolled a 7 for a 9.
Excellent. Finally, Okris.
I got a 5 on my dice and a 2 on the house dice.
Okay. So
I got a 4 plus 1.
And a rule question, is the house die, are we ever counting that towards our roll? Like, can the house die help us or only hurt us?
It can help you, but you have to call upon the house for aid.
I see.
And you would then add that die to your roll. However, you would invoke a doom, of which I believe, Okris, you already have 2.
Wait. So of my last roll, did I invoke a doom because I added the die together?
Yes. I will say, however, what would it have been without? I will let you kind of renege.
So yeah, it would have been 6 plus 1, so 7.
Okay.
And it was equal 6 and 6, But because meets beats, the house die was irrelevant.
Okay. I will say that you did not necessarily invoke a doom then. But with that 5, you hear the music change to a discordant wail, Chris. And as you step out onto the dance floor, you realize that all of the dancers are dead. They are basically animated flesh that almost as if being marionetted and pulled along on strings. In point of fact, as you kind of look up, you see just a number of marionette-style puppeteer rigs moving these people as though they are on a track and moving them together as if like and spinning them as if they are on a whirligig. Similarly, you realize that the musicians on the stage are barely playing their instruments. They're just more like roughly kind of bracing their rotted flesh against the strings of their woodwinds. And you don't know where the air is coming from as they blow into the instruments. But the noise is terrible. And I need you to make me a resistance roll. As you feel compelled to dance this dance macabre.
Would you say this is a sound-related thing?
I would say absolutely it is a sound-related thing.
Could I argue? Could I cast a spell to try to tell you to go fuck yourself?
You may certainly try. By all means, please use more of your precious resources.
If I were to, say, cast Decrescendo, would that interact with this, or no?
I would say it would absolutely interact with it. What is your goal in doing this? Are you trying to take over the music?
I'm trying to say no to the music.
Okay.
I'm trying to say this is a footloose situation, and there shall be no more dancing.
Okay. Normally, this would be like a challenge, a 9, I would say, on your dice. What's the level of your spell?
My spell is level 4 plus 1 dice.
Okay.
I can juice it if that would be. So like specifically, just to make sure that you're cool with me doing this. Basically, my music gradually fills the area around me. Its volume and intensity diminishing each round. So each round, all beings within close range of me, other than me, when I first cast the spell, move a little bit slower.
Yeah,
But basically, can I steal the aux cord and tell the house to go fuck itself?
You may absolutely do that. I will say this. I'm going to give you... This is a great play. I'm going to give you +3 to your roll.
Hell yeah.
So...
I'm going to... Okay, let me make sure I know how much this is going to cost me, because cost me 1 less sorcery to cast. It's a level 4 plus 1 dice, which means I'm going to be rolling 2 dice because life is a nightmare. And I'm going to put 2 bene into that, and I need to hit 9s.
Yeah.
1 9.
You need to hit 1 9.
Okay, I'm going to put 2 bene into that, so I'm going to spend a total of 6 sorcery.
Okay. Wait. No. You add your level of the spell, and I'm giving you a +3 bonus. So you start with 7.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So I don't want to cheat you out of
I'm
stuff.
spending 3 actually because I have the Master of Sound secret, which costs less for me to do that.
Perfect.
Okay. So let me find a 4th D10. Monster.
I will let you nix 1 house die.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
I'm not taking back the you monster bit. We have a grand total of a 9.
Okay.
3. That is a 0 on the dice, though.
Okay.
And the house dice is a 3, so it is lower than my total dice.
Amazing.
There is, however,
is that a flux when you cast a spell?
Flux.
Oh, there is a flux.
It is. Teacher. I forgot to give us homework.
Teacher, you've got to give us
I've always been this monster.
I will tell you this: what ends up happening is that what the flux form takes is as if a invisible blade has cut above your head. All of the strings of all of these marionette dancers, these dead dancers, all of them collapse in a ghoulish display, one of them landing on you and gripping onto your form. I think almost through some sort of like reflexive rigor mortis.
How much how much juice do they have? 'Cause it feels like they're grabbing onto my entropy armor.
So here's the thing:
It feels like that would be bad for a corpse.
This is there is not any damage that is being done to you. The house is not attacking you. What it is doing is it is taunting you. What do you see in the face of this dancer that lands on you that unsettles you?
That unsettles me.
Yeah.
Probably that fucking asshole, Jiren. It's gotta be that asshole.
Yeah, you just see a hollowed out. You realize that the suit that this form is wearing is actually armor, and it is all silver. And their form is half devoured, so much so that almost like a sculpture maquette, some sort of like lattice work is what's holding the rest of the body together. And I think, what do you reflexively do in that moment?
I'm going to... would you call these corpses objects?
Oh, absolutely.
Cool. What's the most interesting thing to do here? I think the most interesting thing to do here is I'm going to spend leech reality and make this corpse basically disintegrate.
Yeah.
I think you see Okris just reach out with one hand, facepalm Jiren, and you watch this corpse just basically turn to ash.
Absolutely.
Question: do the rest of us see Jiren, or is this entirely in Okris's mind?
I'm gonna leave that to you, Okris.
I think it's entirely. It's the house being a little fucking bitch. Like,
I ask because I have a paper that has Jiren's soul transcribed onto it, sort of, or
Anyways.
what remains of it. So
I do have to roll for that.
I do think the sight of you incinerating one of the corpses, though, definitely gives Gav pause as she's silently crossing the room and is very much now on guard to see if this is going to somehow alert a mob unto them, or if we're still good. We're still playing it stealth.
You have literally seen all of these dancers all fall inert. There is nothing rising from this. The only thing that was in Okris's mind was Jiren's form, but this actually happened. Everything fell. All of the musicians, the dancers, they're hanging off of the stage. Limbs are akimbo and strange, odd positions. They're just more like kind of almost like opposable figures and broken marionettes. And you have watched this kind of what had previously thought to have been a vibrant dance hall turn into a hecatomb.
Anyway.
Well, I guess that works.
I regained 4 physicality.
Absolutely.
I spent 3 sorcery and I regained 4 physicality.
Okay. Absolutely. You do that and you manage to rejoin the rest of your friends on the periphery. As
Maree lets Kiri go in a little twirl and bows and kisses her hand and says, I think we were the best dancers out there.
certainly we're the only living ones, it seems.
Speak for yourself. And Gav continues like waltzing off of the immediate ballroom, but just like with a swish of her tail.
Mm-hmm.
Maurice whistles.
Okris lets the decrescendo drop.
How amazing. You hear now, without the music playing, you hear the sound of a glass being polished, as the sound of a hand scrubbing on the floor above, in the kind of raised platform area of the ballroom. But you also have the door that will lead you out of this room right in front of you.
Can we see anything in that general vicinity where the sound's coming from?
You see the light of a bar.
I think Curie looks at the others. Do you think Zero has an outpost in the darkest house?
I'm not against exploring, but again,
No.
I feel like we have limited choices to make.
If it's here, it's not Zero.
Well, in that case, onward.
In front of
I
you.
think Curie will go through the door.
Yeah, absolutely. Two brass doors that open as you pull. And they open out onto what you realize is a pretty broad hallway that leads up a spiral set of stairs that kind of curve around. And above you, all of you see these kind of brass figures that are carved out of oak in the, I was going to say the panels that are above the walls, essentially kind of like, I'm trying to think what the term is, but they're basically kind of like almost like ceiling sconces that are just lovingly crafted with so much detail. But these faces that make up the sconces are actually just seem to be scowling figures. Do you guys ascend the hall?
Yeah. I'm following your lead, Curie.
Yeah, Curie is following the path that I think she's like paying attention to what's happening around and like as they're traversing, but she's fundamentally following the pathway that she saw that kind of like child Allegra take.
Excellent. Curie, what is something you dislike about Okris?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Christ.
Curie. What's something you dislike about Okris?
Came out of nowhere.
You tell us.
Love that. Okay, what is something Curie dislikes about Okris?
And everything is not a valid response.
Oh, you never know. I think
Can I say something I like?
Yeah, absolutely.
it's like fight the dislike with like. I think that Curie thinks that Okris sometimes is hasty with their endings.
Okay. Okris,
And I think sometimes, like, to give that a little bit of color, I think specifically they are thinking like just because an ending is possible doesn't mean that continuation isn't valid. I think that's like where I think by hasty she means like sometimes continuation could be beneficial is her philosophy.
Amazing. Okay. Okris, what's something you dislike about Maurice?
Sentimental to the point of obsession.
Okay. Gabrielle, what's something you dislike about Maurice? Actually, let's flip that now that I think about it. Maurice, what's something you dislike? Actually, let's do both. Gabrielle,
Which one do you want first?
Gabrielle, which do you like about
fest.
Gabrielle, what do you dislike about Maurice?
tries too hard to find the most non-violent solution first, when sometimes it never exists.
And Maurice, what do you dislike about Gabrielle?
Too sure of herself.
And Maurice, what do you dislike about Kiri?
Unsure of herself.
You begin hearing these thoughts. And originally you think that you're having an intrusive thought. And then you realize that the thought has an echolocation, as in it's coming from someplace in this room, and you realize that all of the scowling sconces are staring down at you, speaking with your voices, and saying the things that you dislike and then hate about each other. Too sure of yourself, aren't you? What's the point of an ending when anything continue? Why do you even matter? Oh, so quick to solve everything through peace. Oh yeah. I think you'd give anybody the option if the shoe were on the other foot.
Man, this is just me at 3 a.m.
You're just hearing, as you ascend the stairway, all of these voices, like, is beginning to become a cacophony. What do you guys do in response to this?
I am going to lash out at one of them with my claws and just try to, like, literally break it off.
You rip it off the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm not saying, like, that's what you want to do. That's what you do. You rip it off the wall. The voices get louder.
Oh. You're telling me that being angry at the situation was the wrong thing to do?
Could be. Could very well be.
Maurice notices that so far no one has faltered in their steps and says, keep going. If you're going through hell, keep going.
Oh, in that case, then, as we keep walking, I'm just going to keep ripping them off the wall.
Amazing. Absolutely. They keep on getting louder and more incoherent until you finally get to, I think, the landing of the second floor as it curves around. And there is a massive kind of mid-wall window looking out. And there's nothing there. It's just darkness looking out into pure blackness, and yet there's just some sort of like dim glow coming from the panes, just enough to illuminate these faces staring down at you. As they are getting ripped from the wall, they get louder, they get more incoherent, they get to the point where it's just ranting, and to the point where you almost have to cover your ears. You arrive at the landing, but through it all, you hear the sound of far less discordant music, that seems to be coming from a door on your left. And then on the right is the door, I think an approximation almost of what you saw Allegra's perspective was. And as you reach this landing, you hear something else.
Lieutenant, don't listen to the voices. I'm on your side. Wait, you hear that? She's back. Don't let her separate us. Allegra, come back.
Which way do you go?
What's that?
Ghost or a memory?
Someone from the war report, maybe? The author of that note, Okris?
Hazy. But it sounds familiar, the voice. I can't place it. Like a half-remembered dream.
Listen, for my end, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. And, those were true things. I think we all know that they were true. from my end, I apologize.
Doesn't matter. I'm
I
like
don't care what you
brushing the dust off of my claws.
So all of you find yourselves at the landing of the second floor, having gotten through this kind of cacophony of voices and having heard this mysterious voice kind of begging Allegra to stay. However, in front of you now, in this relative silence, there is a door to your left that seems to be another large double door that appears to be brass. There is on the right, Kiri, a door that is very plain, simple, that is decorated. And in point of fact, how would Allegra have decorated her front door, if at all, of her room?
How old was she?
You tell me.
Okay. I think maybe it's a door that you can tell has changed with age. So like, you know, when you see a wall that has like the little kind of markers of a kid's age or height as they grow, and there's little pencil marks kind of showing like as they've evolved. This door is kind of like an emblematic version of that, of Allegra, where I think initially there's sort of a rudimentary kind of childlike design. There's some, you know, bright colors, but all of that is sort of faded into the background grain of the wood. Like you can see that these were once vibrant colors, sort of like flowers and like clouds and stars and things of that nature, but all of that has been overwritten with what looks like chessboard kind of, like gaming different chess games, or like logic proofs in math, calculus, different sorts of very programmatic looking stuff. And I think there's in pieces, there's some sort of like elegant detailing, like a depiction of Sophanox, for example, is in one corner, like very artfully posed on, it's sketched on kind of a branch of a very, very gangly tree. And so there are these sort of like little academic looking, like scholastic looking elements, but a lot of it's like this door has been used almost like a notebook, but it's been done on the very top of like what once brought child Allegra joy.
Absolutely. And I think that, speaking of Sophanox, you hear a creak as the third door that is further down the hallway, you feel something shift on your shoulder, and you realize that Sophanox has kind of taken this almost aggressive stance as he brings his wings up further and begins cawing in the direction of the door. And you begin hearing a soft, almost like a call and response, a soft caw of what must be another corvid, in response to Sophanox. The three doors. Yeah, go ahead.
From behind that. So she hears that from behind that door?
Yes. And from what you can see, there is, as the door kind of yawns open, it is just black. Darkness, pitch darkness beyond the doorway. But you hear the cawing of corvids and the rustling of wings.
What are the other two doors?
The other two doors, the one that you are standing in front of, is what ostensibly looks like the door to Allegra's bedroom.
Right.
And then to the left are double brass doors from which you hear a melody.
I think Kiri looks at Allegra's bedroom door And she looks at maybe what looks like the most recent kind of chessboard that's been sketched on it. And I think she reaches out her finger and conducts a series of moves of these sketched chess pieces that lead to a checkmate.
Okay. As you do that, I think you hear a click, click, and that door begins opening inward, and a soft light comes pouring out.
I think Kiri looks back at the others. Well, I had to root through her things sometimes. Beating her at chess was really the only way. Shall we?
Yeah,
Shall.
gestures with a claw.
Okay. All of you begin entering the bedroom. Okay. So, allow me to look for something real quick. So, you find yourselves, and describe for me, Kiri, what this bedroom looks like.
It's not something you would generally classify as a bedroom. It looks more like some sort of... Some would probably say torture chamber. Others would say like puzzle box or like strange labyrinthine maze. It's like Allegra has been sort of testing her ability to build and design and create things in here. And so I think it's half sort of like teenage girl memorabilia. So like, you know, a bed, some like I think very gauzy curtains like over like canopy over the bed. I think there's like the glow in the dark stars on the ceiling. I think there's a lot of that sort of vibe, but at the same time it's like it's been overtaken by an encroaching desire to impose order and logic and like classification on everything. So it's like that kind of more romanticized child vibe, kind of like The Door, has been suddenly, it's like more and more of it is taken over by like bookshelves full of like dusty tomes and manuals for things. There's like this giant chessboard in one corner. There's like an access point to the noosphere in another. And in a final corner, there's like this giant Pepe Sylvia-esque whiteboard that she's just clearly done a lot of different lines and pins.
Hang on. I love this glorious effusive description, and then we have and the Pepe Sylvia whiteboard.
It's always sunny in Saturnine.
I mean,
It's never sunny in the darkest house.
oh, except when it comes to the Pepe Sylvia whiteboard.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure Allegra's like ideal is cultivating like Charlie's whole thing from that one episode where he defeats the health department.
Charlie work? Are you talking about
Yes.
Charlie
Yeah.
work?
The best 30 minutes of television.
That one episode, the best episode of television ever made.
Could be. Could very well be.
It is incredible. Well, everyone else faffs about with the chicken thing, then Charlie does great work, and that's the point of the episode.
So
Faffs about with the chicken.
So I have to ask you, what is the subject of this this crime mind map?
Ooh, great question. I think Allegra's, so the Pepe Sylvia board is about trying to get to the center of something. It's about sensing some sort of, and Kiri has a vague, brief association here, and it's a distant memory, but it's that memory of that TTRPG board game in universe they found about the labyrinth. Some sort of massive structure where there's some sort of great revelation at the center, but no Vance, no one has ever been able to solve it. And I think it's something akin to that this whiteboard is sort of gesturing at. Allegra's trying to get to a kernel of something, some sort of source, some sort of, I guess, seed of truth, wildly, that she can't quite grasp, about the nature of magic, about what makes spellcraft work, about why the things that she has tried to bind and copyright and spellwrite only last in her possession for a certain amount of time.
Yeah. Amazing. I will have to tell you, there's a couple of new additions to this board. There is on one hand, in addition to this board, you see a couple of additional notes. And one of the additional notes that you read is the wall that is kind of stapled above the labyrinth, first off. And one of the things also is that in addition to that, you also see an additional note that reads, "The enemy of light, ? And in addition to that, you just see a kind of fanned out a number of images or sketches, as if kind of like trying to diagram something from from like trying to document something that they seen in fleeting glimpses. And one of the things that is drawn is a very tall and imposing figure, which at first you take for a portrait of Adrian von Hollingsworth. However, the jaw of this figure is distended in an angry yell. The features of the top half of this figure's face are shrouded in shadow with two pinpoints of angry light piercing the darkness, and he appears to be holding a belt in one hand as if to strike with it.
I think Yuri's sort of taken aback by that. She has a lot of memories of her father, most of which are stern and very kind of imposing, but none of which are violent. And so to see some sort of depiction of that in Allegra's memories is very, or like this sort of conjuration. I think Curie is momentarily jarred, not knowing whether this is kind of a manifestation of the house or if this is something that differs in Allegra's memories as against her own.
Mm-hmm. I will say, if you would like to make an intellect roll to try to kind of ascertain what is true versus what's, kind of like illusion, you may do so.
I would love to do so. Let's do that. This is house die.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is gonna be a 9 in difficulty, so spend however you like.
All right, I have many intellect, Bene, so we will pump one in there. All right, so that's a 7, so does not meet the challenge. It's tied on both die though, so meets beats.
Yeah, meets beats. It is the house die is not higher.
Yes.
So tell me what it is you are trying to ascertain the reality of something. What is the most pressing kind of question you want answered here?
I think she wants to know if in effect, this is a manifestation, basically even almost with the shard in her hand, right? Is this from like Allegra's actual soul, which she maybe is kind of thinking that this shard could actually be a part of? Is this depiction of Adrian something that Allegra has shielded her from in their past, and that's why she has no memory of it? Or is this the house trying to paint a picture of her father as like its own father archetype and kind of prime that before we meet the father archetype that we know is somewhere else in the house?
I will answer one of these kind of like pressing questions, which is that you do feel for a fact like that while the ink is dry, you have almost like this distinct feeling that you could see Allegra scrambling and writing this. And before adding it to the board.
I think then that gives Kiri pause about her own memories of her father and what Allegra may or may not have mediated between them. But all the same, I think actually another thing that's distinctive about Allegra's room is there's this scent that pervades it. It's the smell of blackened cardamom and sweet cream and a twist of smoke. And it's something that Kiri associates very, very, very faintly with a distant memory, but holding this shard of glass in her hand, somehow it's connected and she doesn't know why or how.
The smoke seems stronger in one particular area of the room, and you see what looks to be a loosely kind of rearranged panel on the wall of the room that you realize can be removed and picked up and moved. It seems to be slightly ajar.
I think Kiri turns to Gavin, Ogress, and Maurice. That panel, I might need some help moving it.
Yeah, what have you guys been getting up to while Kiri has been surveying this bedroom?
It's kind of hard to tell when Gavin's in her Erebast form, but the color has drained from her face. You don't know why.
Maurice shares a glance with Okris and then says, yeah, I'll help you, and walks forward.
Gab seems completely out of it.
And Okris, what are you up to?
Okris has just been processing the space, what the visual, just kind of trying to analyze this board to the best of their ability, knowing what they knew about Allegra and their long history of life, their incredibly long life and memory.
There's a couple things that I think, Okris, that you will notice. In this room, there is a small side table on which 5 sooth cards have been played. And in addition to that, on top of the bed of this bedroom, on top of the covers, there is a small doll.
Want to elaborate on the doll?
Just very kind of like almost like, well, actually, what is a kind of doll that Allegra would have played with when she was a child, Kiri, if at all? And if the answer is that she wouldn't have, that's fine too.
I think the doll is like a standard child's doll, but in its back is stitched in an ether link So an ether link is like a key to the noosphere. It's a way to access. It's like permission to kind of go into this big world of mind palaces all linked together in this kind of, for lack of a better word, like mind palace extension space. And it's like a network or a ever evolving library of like the cloud, basically.
It's geocities.
But yes, in effect. But in order to access the noosphere, you have to have enough ether links. And this seems to be like a doll that ostensibly from the outside looks like it's, you know, a child's toy, something for playing, but that like Allegra has deliberately used as a way to store or cache these ether links for like if she needs them.
Cool. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, that is what you see on the doll, Ogress. That you get a sense that there is something magical coming off of it.
What about the side table? What about it is drawing their attention?
I think that it's a genuine expression of innocence, mixed with kind of like that scent of magic, in this dark, foreboding place.
Sounds like a trap.
I can add one detail too about the side table, which I think maybe Ogress would notice because it's so small. Engraved on just the like little underside of the table is a note with the gratitude and everlasting compliments of the attaché to the Green Sun. To Adrian von Hollingsworth, we bequeath this table.
And in addition to that note, there are 5 cards that have been drawn. There is the Untrustworthy Mirror, the Watcher, the Forgotten Prisoner, the Rat, and the Driver.
What's the driver again?
The Driver is the defender of mysteries.
Sorry, I got Untrustworthy Mirror, Forgotten Prisoner, Rat, Driver, and
the Watcher.
Thank you.
The Watcher is the Sovereign. The Driver is the Defender. I believe the Rat might be the Rat. I don't think the Rat is the Nemesis. But all of these are mysteries cards. They are all your suit, Curie.
Doesn't that end table look out of place?
I don't think it was hers.
Don't think it was for any of you. And you see clutched very tightly in Gab's claws a note that she's holding.
I think Curie turns back towards Gav, sees the note. What's that?
You can see that it's addressed to Gav.
I think Curie points. Where did you get that?
It was here when you walked in. It was waiting for me.
What does it say?
I think very shakily, Gav smooths it out and attempts to read this out to you guys. Gav, I hope you listened to every instinct I tried to drill into your skull in the gray and stayed out of this place. I made a promise to Mott that I would protect you, and I can't do that if you just walked into a death trap. After the cathedral and Upper Taverswood fell, I didn't think I would live another day, let alone spend the better part of 2 decades. watching you grow up, seeing you die on the battlefield in the gray destroyed me. But I knew that my binding of the choir and Jakob had to give out eventually. It's a miracle I could drag myself out of shadow back to Citrine to find you. And find you again I did. In the Undersling. Naturally. Even without my memories, I just felt that I needed to get back to you. And I could see that the Spider Prince's name is crossed out, and then it just says Maurice and the others. While you're on Kieran's mission, the opinions are growing. It's only a matter of time before the Vespertine and your people, along with them, will make a move against them. I'm not sure how much I can help. I'm just an old battle mage, and I'm better off trying to protect Allegra. The Vespertine have corrupted your people and your god. Alone, you cannot help them, but with opinions and the seeds, you have a real shot. Make the hard choices, and in darkness, be the hero. I don't know who sent this.
Who does it sound like?
Gavriel, it's so familiar. It's at the tip of your mind. You can hear someone speaking these types of words of encouragement to you across different times, different places. Saturnine in gray, and all you see is just a gray static figure where something would be addressing you, and the sound coming out is muffled as if through static.
I don't know.
But it's legit.
Why is it in her room?
It has to be.
She never let anyone in here. She never even knew I came here.
She turns the letter over. It's all in Yiddish.
Who saw who die on the battlefield?
It would have to be somebody that was in my unit. In the gray, during the war.
Gavriel,
Unless somebody was following me this whole time. But it seems like it's somebody that I knew, that somebody who taught me something, and I can't remember who they are.
Gavriel, you realize when this figure is referring to someone who watching you die, they are referring to when you were shot.
Yeah. It would still have to be somebody that was either in the unit with me or somebody was following me, even through the war.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
What language is... Okris didn't really think too hard about what language the note that they found in their pocket was in. What language was it in?
The language is in the language of Vislae.
Okay.
No idea who.
It's the voice that we've been hearing this entire time.
But are we sure it's real?
I don't know. Everything is real in here. Everything is not real in here. It doesn't matter. But if somebody came, how is it any more real than it might be your sister?
And I think at the mention of Allegra, Kiri's eye catches on something in the corner of the room that she hadn't noticed before. It's a dollhouse, like a child might have, but instead of a house, it's another miniature depiction of the battlefield that day. Except, like the one we saw in the big room with the kind of glass windows with the light. But instead of what that scene depicted, it's a very different scene than transpired. It's Allegra standing tall atop the tower, a bigger figurine than much of what's around her, imbued with magic. There's a kind of almost effusive glow coming off of it, and a sense that this is a depiction of what might have transpired, or what Allegra believes might have transpired if she had not been stopped that day on the battlefield by the Spider Prince. Think like very dark Galadriel vibes.
Yeah, I think that, so a couple of things, which is, I think as you kind of take a look at that corner, I think first off, Gavriel, even with your attention, drawn, in this way, you feel the shifting of movement, and I think you notice Maurice's expression before you turn to look. Maurice, you notice that in the arch of the doorway, you see the sister, once again, the kind of that figure with the butterflies leaking out of her head. And you just see her nod and turn and on her heel and leave. You realize that she will not enter this room.
Will not or cannot?
Who's to say?
Can I make kind of
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Maurice will call after her.
a little sus check? I don't know what what check that would be.
Wait.
Interaction?
You don't have to go.
Make me, I'll tell you this. So let's resolve, I want to resolve Gav's check first, and then we'll resolve yours, Maurice. But also, I am assuming that one of you has moved the panel.
Not yet. I walked
haven't
over,
touched it.
but we got distracted.
All right, fair enough. In that case,
Fury asked for help with it.
Yeah.
But
in which case, Gav, what are you trying to do here?
Trying to ascertain if she doesn't want to come in the room, or it almost looks as if she's physically barred somehow from entering the room, even if she wanted to.
This
I
could
think
be-
it'd be like a different movement.
This is going to be an interaction roll.
Okay, that's what I'm just gonna do it plain. Not that I only got one in that, and I'd like to save it. Not great. I got a 1 on the dice, but a 3 on the house dice.
You realize that in this moment, as you look to, I will tell you that basically this is the house acting, and yet because it stole that joy, it is satiated for the time being. It is happy to have made you miserable. But there is, I think, almost like a begrudging respect of this figure that might be part of Allegra, that nods at you, but you will not know for sure whether or not she cannot enter. You just know that she does not.
Got it.
Maurice, make me your interaction roll to try to see if you can convince her to stay behind.
Just roll it straight.
Yep.
I will pick that die off the floor later. All right. I beat the house die, but I only got a 4.
I think that there is a moment where you think you're going to hear a response that just kind of hangs in the air. But no response comes. Finally, I will say also, Kiri, as you are standing by the panel of the wall, kind of taking in this scene, you feel a slight draft coming through that crack in between the panel and the rest of the wall.
I think she looks to the others. I think there's a passage through here.
Oh, right. I'll be right there. And Maurice goes to help you with it.
But I think as she does that, her eye catches on that first card on the table, the untrustworthy mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a picture of a mirror on that card?
It is the picture of a floating candle floating past a mirror.
Zach, what's in the mirror on the card?
I will tell you.
Oh, of course you put something in there.
So, in the card as it is depicted, sorry, I was thinking of the fleeting moment. In the untrustworthy mirror, instead, you are looking at two figures. Normally, what you would remember from the traditional, rendition of the card is it's a woman in kind of like 1920s style attire, glancing over her shoulder, but her reflection in a mirror is looking at her. Mm. And instead, who you see is Nathaniel.
Ooh. Curious, taken aback by that. This house is playing tricks on us. No. How do we know if any of this is real?
As I've been saying.
Maybe you are all right. There's so much I don't know about me or where I came from or who I am but also this house has an agenda. I don't know that we can trust anything in here, right?
The information you get here could well be poison.
It's trying to get us to think something, like those sconces earlier that were saying horrible things.
They were horrible truths.
It knows the things we don't know. The memories we still don't have, the missing pieces.
But if it's true, what's Nathaniel doing in that card?
As you say his name, the dim lights in the hallway that are letting light into the room begin to shudder, as if to flicker, and you hear the buzz of the filaments in the bulbs rattle, and there is a flash of darkness before it's returned to the dim light. And when you next look at that table, the untrustworthy mirror card is missing.
I don't like this.
Shall we look at this panel? Maybe find some egress, unless there's other things we want to find in this spooky bedroom.
The opportunity to pick up the doll.
You certainly do.
And,
do you...
tosses it to Kiri.
Kiri.
It's magic. Do you catch it, or you just let it hit you in the?
No, she absolutely catches it.
George Michael just turns the back.
It feels like it is exactly what you imagine it to be. It is a way to the noosphere, or it has the means by which you can tap into it. However, you don't know, it's not active right now. You don't know whether or not you could activate it given enough magic or time.
I think Kiri's struck by how much this doll looks like Allegra, but also kind of also looks like her. There's like some very odd similarities, I think. And you could call it like, I don't know, the American girl doll effect, right? Where it's like, oh yes, you have this doll that's meant to look like you, but also there's this kind of unsettling similarity, like it's a spell component or some sort of strange, deliberate similarity that's not just about appeasing a child that it belongs to. And I think that feeling kind of strikes Curie, but she doesn't entirely know what to do with it. I think it just sort of hits her in a wave. I think she sees the ether link in the back. Is it like a very real ether link?
It's a very real ether link.
Okay. Well, this should be useful to us if we need to escape into the noosphere at any point. But
that will definitely be useful.
I suggest we save that for an absolute emergency. You never know what you're going to find up there. But at least there's a way out, should we really, truly need it.
What would it connect to here? There is no current.
Zach, is the noosphere completely reliant on the current?
I will say that the laws of the physics in this place are completely unique to it. You can try to build an exit for it out. You get the sense that if you try to build an exit for it out of what you accept to be true, things could go very bad very quickly.
Then I think Curie looks at Ogress and says, this place seems to operate on lullaby logic. If it's an ether link in reality, then it just means a piece of an exit strategy in here, whatever that might mean to the house. It's all dependent on whether the house recognizes the noosphere's sovereignty.
To that end, if anyone's shoving anything in this house in their pockets or whatever, we might want to do a decontamination once we leave. I don't want anything following us back.
Smart, Maurice. I think, like, Curie is going to go over and, start to try to help you move the panel. But I think actually before she does, there's presumably a bed in this room, yes?
There
Allegra's sleeping place.
It is the one from which Ogress plucked the doll.
Can Curie slip her hand under Allegra's pillow?
Absolutely.
Cool. She does that.
What would a terrifying little psycho keep underneath her pillow?
That's the question. I think in this instance, there are a number of sketches and drawings and diagrams. Almost the way, I think the way, somebody would keep something absolutely precious to them under their pillow. Normally, people that are worried or, kind of concerned for their protection would keep something with which they could defend themselves, right? Like a gun or, a baseball bat by the corner of their doorway. Something that allows them to quickly move into an offensive position. But Allegra is her own weapon to some degree. Her command of spellcraft is vast and deep. So the thing that she would keep closest to her person is the work that she would be most invested in or most concerned with putting on her person in the event of an emergency. And you find a pile of pages. All of them are spell pages. And there is a number of scrawls and scratchings that you realize are the makings of a gamma level Vancian spell. It is incomplete. And there is a title that has been basically affixed to this, which is Allegra's Grimoire Guardian. And there are a number of kind of notes about, long form possibilities, ? Components, ? Need to refine the somatic structure and formulae. How can I pull this from the current? That is the thrust of these pages.
I think with the limited time that they have, Curie scans through them. She was working on something. Big magics by the look of it. I mean, as much as we can trust anything in this place. But I don't know if this place runs on lullaby logic, then this hiding something under your pillow means it's important.
Maurice, you notice that Curie has a nosebleed.
Oh, you got a little, and he pulls a handkerchief from his pocket.
Oh, I didn't even feel it. She wipes at the blood.
Do you think maybe staying here is not good for you?
I don't know. It depends on how much of it's real.
I don't think it's good for any of
Maybe we should go.
And Curie nods. The panel, I guess, right?
Right.
You watch as the panel falls forward.
Sounded like the panel barked.
Yeah.
It was the sound of the rust kind of coming off of one of the sides.
It also
their
sounded
dog's
like
name is Rust?
a Pokemon.
Zach, I'd like to roll to pet the panel dog.
You sure if you want to pet a panel dog in the darkest house, be my guest.
Oh, boy.
However, the thing that you realize as the panel falls forward, seemingly of its own volition, is that there is a what looks to be a small passageway, like a enlarged air vent, leading out of the room through the panel. And you sense that smell of smoke and cardamom is getting stronger from that direction.
Curie sniffs at the air. I remember this. Somehow, I remember this.
And I have to ask, do you wish to proceed forward?
Curie will.
And on that note, we are going to take our 10-minute break. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to The Hole in the World, an actual play set in the world of the Invisible Sun RPG. We are, of course, continuing our Darkest House arc, so we will be picking up right where we left off. Curie, you have spotted in front of you a passageway about high enough for folks to crawl through within this bedroom that ostensibly seemed to have once belonged to Allegra, or is an amazing facsimile of it. And you have decided, it sounded like you would like to go through the passage.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Correct.
Excellent. So in that case, I take it, are you leading the charge?
Yes, I think once the passageway is opened enough that we can crawl through it, Curie will she's been sort of enticed by many things in this room. She'll pocket the papers that she found under Allegra's bed, and I think will scurry through the vent ductwork that seems to have opened up from the passage.
Amazing.
Yeah, Gab will follow.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything other than following? Okay. All of you begin single file kind of crawling through this duct. And it is strange. The duct, it doesn't seem to matter what size you are, but it feels as though while you are traversing it, it is meant to feel uncomfortable and claustrophobic, no matter what size you are. For Kiri and for Gavriel especially, I don't think that when you went in, it was this narrow and small. And just as you are concerned that the house has decided that it has had enough fun with this game and is going to crush all of you in this ductwork, you notice that there is a light on your left as you continue to crawl. And there seems to be just a little glint of faint light in the distance ahead of you as well, as it seems to kind of curve around a corner much further down, but the light that is most immediate to you seems to be a strange kind of collection of colors, almost a patch of red with a mix of blue and green. Kiri, as you kind of come up upon this light, you kind of glance to your left as the duct opens and forks. And you realize that you are looking at kind of a stone floor that leads out into a larger room. Do you proceed forward?
He does.
Okay. Are all of you, I think, going to wait and kind of go in, or are any of you kind of exploring further, or all of you sticking together?
Sticking with Kiri.
I mean, I want to get out of this little tiny chamber as fast as possible, so I'm going to scramble out into the main room that it's opening into.
Okay. In that case, you all manage to enter into a larger room, which looks a bit like an image that I am going to send you. So, you enter into this room, and what you are looking at is what appears to be a small chapel with a kind of a stained glass surface. If you won't mind my saying, just give me one moment as I am looking up some badass stuff. So, you enter into this room, and there are these kind of, the light that was reflecting down this passage, you realize is coming from a stained glass kind of installation on the far side of the room from which you've entered. You see beyond this glass, it is essentially meant to be a kind of like there is a window behind it. But there is also a glass partition in front of it, and what looks to be a massive, almost U-shaped stone altar. And on every side of you guys are candles with sculptures of cats. Some of them are candelabras, some of them are just kind of decoration or some sort of kind of representation. And all of these things together seem to be kind of framing this broken U-shaped stone altar in the center of the room. And you realize there is a small black bundle on the top of this altar. and Sophanox lets loose a baleful caw.
What's that?
What do you do?
Hello.
Marissa, I thought I heard you
Oh.
starting to say something.
Curious says, what is that?
Gab's gonna get closer to it.
Okay. So, on top of this altar, you realize is the headless body of a raven that has been bound up with red string, and its blood spilled on the top of this, underneath this altar. Reflexively, Sophanox caws and begins spreading its wings as if to make itself more intimidating in this moment. And to the side of this headless body is the head of the raven.
Oof.
However, stuffed in the center of its body is a small patch of white paper.
Well, here goes nothing. And Maurice kind of folds back his sleeves and gingerly takes the paper from the raven's body.
You unroll the paper, and printed inside of it is a message that you can see that I have sent you.
All hail, mother of senseless things. Look upon my works and find beauty in the meaninglessness. Destroy all significance. Bring ruin to all that is orderly and sane. Maurice folds the paper and says, I don't think I'm going to do that.
As you toss the message aside,
This can't be real. She can't even tap into this. It would swallow her whole. Who would do this? House. House is a mouth. We walked inside. Right under its teeth. Pater. Mater. Frater.
that static image, that figure that you have seen that basically kind of projects onto reality when these moments transpire is right next to Maurice as he throws the paper aside.
I'd like to keep the paper, actually.
Okay.
But also, can I swipe out at this apparition?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like not in any violence, just to
Yeah, absolutely.
caress it.
Yeah. I think in this moment, you have a flash of something, which is you see in your memory, or a flash, almost like an intrusive thought, almost like a flashback or a sense of deja vu. As your hand crosses the threshold of this figure, you have a moment where you are sitting and having tea in the middle of Saturnine. This figure is kind of seated across from you. And again, it's like a tracking error in reality. Static, a muffled voice. So the council has evacuated, and like some of it is garbled, some of it is clear as a bell, has evacuated to where? And you hear that yourself respond to this figure. And you hear him say, to the labyrinth, to the place where is the seed of power. But there's a trick to getting there. And that's when the flash just dissipates.
I just had a memory. I talked to this creature, the one that we've been seeing. He was talking about the council. And I knew the answer. It was the labyrinth and the seed of power. Maybe this is the labyrinth. If we're expecting to find a seed here.
Would make sense.
I should say
truth and power are different.
I should say one thing. It was the seat of power.
Seat of power. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That no longer makes sense.
Allegra was studying a labyrinth of some kind, it seemed.
Who is the she that's tapping into the power?
I wouldn't put it past Allegra.
What do we know? What does Maurice know about labyrinths? Has this come up, anytime in the last 6 years that we've been playing this game?
So the question is, did Kiri mention the labyrinth game from the Silver Sun?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think
we were
passing me
together.
over that. Yes, we saw that in a shop. It was like an intradiegetic TTRPG, but it was called The Labyrinth. And it was about this sort of adventuring into an unknowable maze and like trying to find something.
And then same question about seat of power.
So I think the thing that I just remembered, the term that you would have heard in this conversation was they have gone to the magisterium. Close to the labyrinth, to the seat of power. Sorry, I should have made sure I added that. I just couldn't remember the name. There's a lot of proper nouns in this game.
Okay, same question, magisterium.
That's a term that you have not heard.
I think at this point, Kiri looks to Ogress. That note, mother of senseless things, does that mean anything to you?
That's a great question, Zach.
If you would like to make a intellect roll or a magical lore roll,
knowledge.
Yeah, you may absolutely spend a hidden knowledge. You may use magical lore if you have it.
I would love to do that. I have somewhere. I know I have like an ass load of hidden knowledge. I just don't know where I have that listed.
Feel free to just spend one. You're good.
Oh, I have 16.
Oh, perfect.
I would love to spend one. And what was the other roll?
So the roll is you are spending it. This is hidden lore. So this is magical lore. This is intellect. But
do I need to roll a house dice for this?
Yes, if you are trying to find out info.
All right, so I have a +1 native because of the magical lore skill. And I have a hidden knowledge, which is doing what?
The hidden knowledge is adding 1.
Okay.
So you start with 2.
Can I add a separate bene or no?
You can totally add a separate bene.
Cool. I'll toss a intellect bene on there.
Okay, that's 3. And if you want to spend sortilege, let me know. Otherwise, go ahead and roll.
No, I'll just.
This is how I get you.
Sorry, I'm just looking to see what I actually have. Yes. I would. I'm gonna spend more. I'm not gonna spend sortilege. Fuck you. I'm gonna spend intellect.
Okay.
Specifically 3. So I have a total of +5 on this roll.
All right. You start with 5.
That is a 6 on my dice, a 2 on the house dice, so a total of 11.
Okay. On an 11, I will tell you that what this is, you realize immediately, is a written invocation, like a ritual prayer. Essentially, whoever worked that magic here summoned something really nasty. This is like something a Vespertine would write or say or do, because it is all about nihilism. It is about oblivion. However, the thing that is really distressing is they came here to this chapel in this place to do it. And I think that that is when you notice that the glass partition in front of this window, this stained glass upon stained glass, is portraying an image. And the partition, it's displaying what looks to be a moving abstract. And you realize that the light is kind of refracting and changing, and the composition of the stained glass is changing. And it is evoking a memory, a sense, or an image in all of you who look at it. My question is, Okris, what does this look like to you?
Can I get a vibe?
Can you get a 5?
A vibe?
A vibe?
Yeah, Zach, do you have any 5s?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Let me see.
Go fish.
No, I only got 1s.
Fuck. Okay.
So here's what the vibe is. This is the Zach the Great Zamino equivalent of non-Euclidean geometry. It is creating a disturbing but evocative work of art in the glass that is evoking something in your mind. Like, imagine like seeing a really evocative contemporary or like an abstract painting.
Oh, I know what this is.
Yeah. What is this?
It is a kaleidoscoping, endless, self-reflecting, self-refracting kind of pit, expanse, universe of thorns. That, if a careful viewer might know, would be very similar to what Twig once was.
Amazing.
Just rapacious, endless growth.
It's interesting that you use the word kaleidoscoping, but we will get to that in at another point. Has anybody else looked at this window, or as Okris notices it?
Do I have a chance to say anything before?
You may absolutely say something. What would you like to say?
It's a summoning ritual. They brought something here.
You know
Or
what?
they made it.
No, this was something that didn't come from here.
And we're too late to stop it. What else can we get from this room? I start looking at the candles. Are the candles normal?
The candles are normal.
Check.
I pick one up and blow it out.
They are unscented.
I blow out the candle and I relight it with my finger flame.
Okay. Let me double check something, actually.
Can I warn
what you wanna
people
hear.
about the glass? Do I have time to do that?
Oh yeah, please do, dude, because I'm gonna look at it.
I will say this. The thing that is the thing is the candles are not normal. Actually, the candle, you realize as you hold it, is not burning down the wax. It seems like it's ever burning, but as you unlight it, as you blow it out and relight it, it behaves like a normal candle. However, it sounds like you wanted to look at the window as well.
Mm-hmm.
What abstract kind of unnerving image springs to your mind, Maurice?
I see rapid decay. I see what looks to be like living forms stripping down to the bone and coming back in a different shape and stripping down, and eye sockets going empty. And I go, ew!
Am I a joke to you?
And I say, like a real nice guy, I say, hey, don't look at this stained glass. Yo, this is crazy.
I immediately look at it. What's the one thing you should never say if you don't want somebody to look at
Don't
something?
think of an elephant.
It's literally like an instinctual thing. I'm not even saying that because my character can be a dumbass about things. It's just like, it's when someone says, don't look at this thing, you turn around and you're gonna inevitably see it.
Ray, it's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Gabrielle, what unnerving thing do you see in the glass?
Nothing. And I mean the quintessential nothingness, the abyss that stares back at you once you've looked at it too long. And except in this case, you only need to look at it for an instance. It is void.
It's funny you say that. Finally, Kiri, do you manage to resist the urge to look at this?
She's a scholar at heart. I don't think she ever resists the urge to look at a text.
Worst group of people to say, don't look at this thing. Hey, don't look at this horrible thing. It'll fuck with your mind.
All right. What do you see that is unnerving to you in the swirling abstract imagery of this stained glass partition?
I think Kiri sees a refraction of something she doesn't remember. But most of all, I think what she sees is the face of her former rival, Gil. And I think she sees the life that Gil was meant to lead.
The life that he is meant to lead, as the image kind of almost zooms back. You see him in a cage, in a dark, dark place. And you realize that a hand reaches down in this image and caresses the cage as something seems to be siphoned from Gil's form. And the image kind of zooms out further, and you see a very dignified looking figure with a cage here, and a cage here, and a cage here. And you realize with some disgust that the cages are growing out of this feminine figure's body. And not only that, but you recognize also another form. You see Alinea in a separate cage. before the feminine figure turns to look in your direction. And you realize that that face is the one of Ota Clasp, the acting Supreme Magister of, Supreme Magus, I should say, of the Vancian campus.
Great. Corruption at the heart of my order. Love that.
Mm-hmm. So, however, there has been something that has been working through your mind as you looked at that kaleidoscope of color. And it is something that, Maurice, you recognize as you see it. It is the kaleidoscopic void, which only you saw in the war report because Kieran rewound time for everyone else. And you realize that the window that is beyond the stained glass partition is another stained glass window, but it is creating a kaleidoscope of colors that refract through this glass partition to create the abstract imagery. And you realize that beyond that window, is the actual kaleidoscopic void, as it feels oppressive in its scintillating imagery and the absolute nothingness and the abyss beyond it. And you realize that as the light refracted through that window, refracted through the partition, it beamed onto that altar, onto the sacrificed body of a raven in which an incantation and an intention was inscribed. And if you had managed to glance at that bit of paper, Gabrielle, you would have recognized Marlowe's handwriting. And it's on that note that we're going to end tonight's session.
Amazing. I do like to say that the fuck was in character.
Yeah. So guys, thank you for joining us in the Darkest House. I'm so excited that we get to play here, and we get to do this when we are recording. It is actually around All Hallows Eve, Samhain if you're practicing, and I must say that it is absolute joy to be essentially doing my spooky, scary skeleton time with everybody. So we're gonna do shout outs and plugs. So Marcy, if you want to start us off.
To do my standard pattern here. Thank you all for joining us on Manapot Studios, whether you're watching it while it's up on our Twitch channel or you're watching it while you're just catching up and binging it on YouTube. Thank you so much. I never know what time it is anymore in the future. I don't even know what time it is in the present usually, so that's neither here nor there. I'm just gonna say, hope everyone is taking care of themselves and fighting the good fight.
Excellent. Moving down the order. Bill, if you want to give shout outs and plugs.
No change from previous weeks. I am so excited to play with these folks. We are conquering the calendar. We're getting it done. And my plug, as always, is Jeff Stormer. Go to jeffstormer.com. Listen to his podcast, play his games, and buy his book.
Moving over to the other side of the overlay, Hopper, if you would like to give out a shout out or plug.
Man. I've been.
Oh, that's what I should have done.
Everything's bad. Be mean to dicks and be nice to everybody else. Like, if somebody says that somebody else's human rights are up for negotiation, then I don't know. Give them empathy, and definitely not other things. Be nice to them and not other things that would be illegal to advocate for. Yeah, that's all I got. This shit sucks. Have a storm evacuation plan. That's my plug, actually. That's my shout out. Have a storm evacuation plan. Have a natural disaster evacuation plan for you and your loved ones.
I can get behind that for sure. I mean, I can get behind the other part too, but also that for the immediate need. But finally, Marissa, shout outs and plugs.
Well, as is appropriate to the season, I will shout out and plug the original mother of senseless things made senseful, Mary Shelley, who did a lot of great work, was not necessarily recognized for her work as much in her time as she should have been, is now happily restored to being recognized for her work, although still there's like a weird cadre of people who think that like Percy Shelley edited or wrote all her work, and it's like, why? No, stop, please. Anyway, she's great. And if you haven't really actually read Frankenstein and or anything Mary Shelley has actually written,
then what the fuck are you doing?
What are you
doing?
doing?
Show.
Yeah, go do that right now.
Get the hell out of here.
Because every adaptation builds on her original work, and her original work is incredible. And connectedly, if you happen to be in the New York area and you have heard of Disremembrance or haven't, go look that up, because our wonderful friends of the channel, David and Katie, have put together an immersive show about Mary Shelley and the night that she wrote Frankenstein. So yeah, if you haven't heard of that, look it up, be a supporter of it. It's really cool. Yeah, immersive theater is great. Actual play is great. Mary Shelley is great. All of this combined is wonderful. Support all of those things. And that is my shout out and plug.
I was going to say, and that show, once again, is Disremembrance. You should check it out. For my own part, I am going to go ahead and give a shout out to the unspoken, wonderful guest star that you've been hearing his voice in some of the sound clips that I've been playing throughout the episode. Andrew Krug, who is an amazing actor, an awesome actual player, one of my favorite actual players in all the realms, and who is one of the stars of one of my favorite podcasts, and Counterparty, which is a great D&D actual play that you should check out. So shout out to Andrew. And finally, yeah, I guess the other thing to say is we're dealing with some really scary times, not just because it's October. So, safeguard the people that you love, safeguard and protect the people that you can. Say no to kings. And most importantly, do what you can to take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and take care of each other. And finally, I hope that the invisible sun shines on you all. So good night, and we will see you in 2 weeks for the conclusion of this, not the conclusion, but the continuation of this arc. Thank you, and good night.